Good afternoon, I'm your host Simrin, and I'm sure you've heard the saying, shoot for the moon and if you miss, you land amongst the stars. Well, I'm not telling you this simply, I'm telling you this because I'm sure a lot of us have aspired to become a RJ and to get into radio ourselves. Cough, cameraman will cough. Anyway, today we'll be talking to एक ऐसा शख्स who is here to tell us that being a RJ isn't the only way for one to get into radio. Okay, so Joe Mohan, who is quite a famous voiceover artist here in the UAE, is here to tell us a little bit more about the voiceover profession and a little bit more about himself. So hi Joe, please tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you come about working as a voiceover actor?
Thank you very much for having me here, first of all, Simi. And a bit about myself, I am actually an entrepreneur. I have an educational startup, but I'm known for what my passion really is, which is voiceovers and hosting and anchoring events. That's what I've been doing since my childhood. So I would say that is my passion, which became my profession. When did I start? To be precise, I think I was about 15 years old when I got the first opportunity to read out a script for a audio drama, as they call it, which was a long time back in Delhi.
Pretty young.
Yes, and I was just, I would say, lucky because I was picked up from the church and somebody just offered me an option to, would you like to read a script? Would you like to say a line? I said, yeah, sure, why not? That's when I saw what a radio station really looks like. And I went there and I did that. I enjoyed the experience and that's about it.
So you've made your passion your profession. Absolutely. Yeah? All right. So a lot of the times voiceover artists do not receive recognition for their work and their projects. So do you see that changing in the future?
Absolutely, yes. Because social media has definitely changed the entire landscape. So everything which is connected to social media gets popularity today. And voiceover artists who were really the voices that we grew up listening to, like the movie commercials or the the advertisements, the promos when you enter a theater, all those people bit by bit now are getting popular. Like I had no idea who's Hal Douglas, but now I know who Hal Douglas is. He's my role model because now there's a face to that voice because of the social media. I had no clue who's Red Pepper. Red Pepper is a voiceover artist who you would have heard I don't know how many hundreds of times, but then you don't know who it is. But then now there's a voice to it, there's a face to it. Now you can listen to his interviews. So social media has changed that. Now voiceover artists are getting recognition.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So are there any exercises that you do in particular in like to prepare for your projects or before you go on stage or before you record a demo or something?
Well, there isn't any particular exercise as such, but yes, there is a bit of warm-up, I would say, that is required, especially before a voiceover, because a voiceover recording is done in a studio which has very sensitive microphones. It actually captures all the low frequencies and the high frequencies very clearly. So it has to be clear. So your voice has to resonate. It has to have the punch, the required amount of depth and everything. So there's a bit of exercise that you need to do to warm it up, to warm up your voice. But yeah, and otherwise if you're trained, even in music, it's great because you know then how to control your voice and where to put the punch on, where to emphasize and so on. Yeah.
So not everyone can become a radio jock, but can anyone become a host or a voiceover artist?
That's a very good question. Now, not everyone can become a radio jockey. Why? Because it requires a certain specific skill sets, certain qualities. Similarly, voiceovers also require a certain skill sets. Hosting requires a different set of skill sets. I would say not everyone can do. To become a good voiceover artist, you need to have a good voice, number one. Number two, you need to have a clarity on how to enunciate, pronunciate, and the diction should be good. Also, the command on the language itself, whatever language you speak, is very important. And when you come to hosting, you need to be confident on the stage, facing a lot of people. You need to be very clear on your content, on what exactly you're going to talk about. Energy needs to be high. You need to be natural. You need to be yourself. You cannot be someone else. You cannot fake that energy. It has to be who you are. So these are two different things. But then again, if you've got a good voice and if these two qualities are there, then you can definitely become a good package.
So, voiceover artists are usually expected to impersonate people, impersonate celebrities. So, is impersonation a skill that you had developed over time, or is it something that you were just talented with?
Okay, so yes, a lot of times you're expected to impersonate or mimic somebody's voice, but that's not really a requirement as such. If you look at it, mimicry artist is in itself a category, so you don't really have to do that. But if you can do it, wow! I mean, I have huge respect for people who can actually take out or impersonate other people pretty well. I can't do that. Yes, but then I can say a few things in my own way with a certain quality of voice. Like I love Amitabh Bachchan, I think. So that's where you might have seen that video in my channel where I was trying to say his shairi. I love that. So, and it's just that I say it in my way, not in Amitabh Bachchan's way, of course.
So, lastly, what are the 3 techniques or tips that you could share with us that one should remember when doing a voiceover?
Okay, so the tips that I would say, especially if you're a beginner, you need to try recording your voice with a good microphone and listen to it again and again, and try doing it as often as you can. Keep practicing on that. Play it to your friends, play it to your parents, let them listen to it. Give your feedback. And then, of course, you have to also approach the studios or professionals. And if you can actually learn music or voiceover specific classes, so that helps you build your voice, your breath control, your voice modulation techniques. And of course, if you are good in language, that adds to it. And yeah, so those are the tips that I would give out.
So, could you just conclude this interview in Mr. Bachchan's baritone?
Okay. Well, that's an Urdu shairi. I'll try saying that in my voice, not really a Bachchan Saab's voice, but then I'll try. Okay? So, now if I have to say this in a normal way of talking, it will be Kabhi kabhi mere dil mein khayal aata hai. But that's not really a voiceover. So, how would I say it in a studio is like this.
कभी कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है कि जिंदगी तेरी जुल्फों की नरम छाँव में गुजरने पाती तो शादाब हो भी सकती थी। ये रंजो गम की स्याही जो दिल पे छाई है तेरी नज़र की शुआओं में खो भी सकती थी, मगर ये हो न सका और अब ये आलम है कि तू नहीं, तेरा गम, तेरी जुस्तजू भी नहीं।
That was amazing. That was so cool. We did, hearing you in this voice, I didn't expect that voice. That's pretty cool. Thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you so much.